But this is a completely different experience. You cannot get something that is even 50% the same along the same trajectory. Welcome to Whiskey and SV. Tonight we'll be drinking some high-end Redbreast whiskey. And tonight I'm joined by my esteemed guest, Tam.
Thanks for having me, Sam.
Thanks for coming, Tam.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I have a large collection of whiskeys, as you know, and I treasure none as much as the Redbreast 27. And you can see this is one of the only bottles that I paid a lot of money for, and I couldn't even wait to try it. As soon as I had it, the same day I opened it, and it's already down to here. It's probably hard to see, and it's mostly been enjoyed with friends. It's really a unique whiskey to me because I can't think of any other whiskey that gives me anywhere close to that experience. And of course, because of that, I wanted to share it with you and see what you think of it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people that think about buying this whiskey, the current batches of this, I think, are in the order of $600 or $650. Prices have gone up for sure.
And then Total Wine sells it now for $1,000.
Total Wine now sells it for $1,000. But that's overpriced. I think in secondary you can still get like the older batches for like 600,
Yes.
650.
Mm-hmm.
Batch 1, which is the one that is here, is the one that is like the most it's the one that won the most awards and is widely believed to be by far the best one, right? So I of course tracked this down in secondary. I had to pay $850 cash for it.
Wow.
No trades, straight up cash. And I don't regret it. I think it provides such a unique experience that it is really a unique and once kind of like in a lifetime experience. So of course I need to probably slow down drinking it so fast.
Yeah,
but I was so excited to share it with everyone I see because it just blows everyone's mind how different it is, right? And I think like a lot of people that try Redbreast and have tried like the lesser ones, like the regular 12 or the cask strength, which are all great whiskeys. When they think about like paying 300 for the 21, they think it's too much. And even for me, I think right now like the 21 here, I think is 350 now at Total Wine. Right?
Wow. Yeah.
And I would not pay 350 for the 21. I think for me, the 12 cask strength, which is around like 90, $80, is like the sweet spot in terms of like price versus value. But if you have to have something that's completely different, then the 27 really, really is something unique and different that you cannot get anywhere else. And for me, if you're going to spend that much money, you better be spending it on something that is, you just can't find anywhere else.
Yes.
And we poured these ahead of time to make sure that they have some time to open up. But that's I'm really interested to know what your experience with these two whiskeys is.
Right.
Because I think the 21 probably you'll find that it's not that unique if you've had other Redbreasts.
Okay.
But the 27 is something else. So
looking forward to finding out.
Yeah. All right, cool. So I'm going to start by the 21 first.
21 first.
Yeah. So it's a typical Irish whiskey, like very creamy, pretty nice kind of like aromas. It's 46%, nothing like there's not a lot of like alcohol burn or anything like that on it.
Yeah.
There's definitely like some floral notes in there. The majority of what comes across is just like very creamy vanilla, floral kind of like fruity notes.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of fruity notes. I'm getting some cream as well. It might not be a vanilla. I'm getting kind of like more of a lavender.
Lavender, right?
Yeah,
that's a good point.
But there is some like kind of astringency going on a little bit. I don't know what that type of nose profile is.
Interesting. I don't get any astringency. For me, this is like super smooth, non-offensive, but also not especially unique. Like given that it's like now 360 plus tax at Total Wine, like it's just not worth it. By the way, I got this bottle from Europe, but even in Europe, I think it ended up costing me like around like $230, $240.
Wow.
But that was like 2 years ago, so prices might have gone up. Okay, let's try the palate on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just get like a wave of like concentrated fruits, some spices, like kind of like baking spices maybe,
Yeah.
um, and then like the vanilla and the oak, like kind of like is what's left over for me.
Yeah.
What do you get?
I'm getting like the drying oak right now as the finish is going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's very savory.
Mm-hmm.
I can feel my mouth is watering,
Yeah.
which is a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also get like those fruits that you're saying. I'm getting a lot of the stone fruits
Mm-hmm.
with some, I would say, a mixture between baking spices and white pepper is the
Mm.
best way I can describe like how it's hitting the tongue.
Right.
Yeah,
Definitely agree with that. Definitely agree with that.
yeah,
There's a little bit of a bitterness to it,
yeah.
but the bitterness to me is tending more towards an oak bitterness than a citrus bitterness.
I completely agree with that.
Um, yeah, it's a solid whiskey. It's just I just don't think it's worth the price. That's my only beef with this whiskey is that it's not worth basically approaching $400.
Yeah, I completely
It's too
agree with
much.
that too.
Okay, so now let's try the 27.
Yep.
Straight away, this I think the ABV on this is pretty high, right? What is this? It's like 54.6% ABV.
Hmm.
Um, this straight away the main thing that I get on this is like this lychee or jackfruit kind of like
Hmm.
tropical fruit that is completely insane. I've just never got that profile in any other whiskey I've ever tried in my life.
Hmm. Going off of that, I have to completely agree. But adding on to that too, I feel like it's a very molassesy fruit. Like the fruits are covered in a layer that just envelops your nose, and it surrounds the fruits and your nose with a honey, fruity texture. A lot of stone fruits for the Asian markets, longan, lychee, and you have for the Western market like molassesy stone fruit. It's the best way to
Hmm.
describe this very opulent nose feel.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers.
Mm. Super mouth coating. Um, whew, just such a concentration of you know fruit, fruity kind of like tropical fruits and oiliness and I just don't know how to describe it, but it's just such a unique experience.
Yeah.
Um, I, I think for me this is why I don't regret like paying for this and opening it. I mean when I think about like even I have a GTS 22 up there, right? And
Yeah.
that's widely known to be like one of the best like BTEC of 22.
Hmm.
And um, the reality is I think like the difference between that I can get like 90 or 95% there with a good jack with a good stag junior.
Yeah.
Specifically, I would say I got even better than that in the hazmat stag store pick that I had,
Oh.
and I paid 250 for that, right?
Uh-huh.
So not cheap, but
Hmm.
like definitely not. Basically, that bottle is worth like $1,000, so
Yeah.
more than the red press, right?
Yeah.
I would much rather have another red breast than that GTS.
Yeah. Having that GTS, I will completely agree. Like this gives you just as much thickness and mouthfeel,
Mm-hmm.
but all the flavors are along with the nose. Everything is very well integrated. Like the flavors come in layers, the nose is surrounding, and it's just so well balanced. Like I got spices in this one, but this one the spices is just there gently.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's so good. And this is like significantly more. It's like more than 10% ABV than the other one, right?
Yeah,
But that's so good. And that the aftertaste, that like jackfruit aftertaste is just crazy. If you don't know what jackfruit is, then you might think like more like peaches, right?
yeah,
It's like just a very concentrated peach flavor,
yeah,
like maybe white peaches,
yeah.
if you've ever had those. Great. I love this. I love this whiskey. I think there's no substitute for it. And to me, the ultimate price of what I'm willing to pay to experience is about whether you can, if you can get it at a cheaper price, if you can get like, maybe it's not
Mhm.
as good, but
Yeah.
if you can get like 90% of the way there,
Hmm.
then I would not pay like so much more for it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of Scotch whiskies and a lot of bourbons, ultimately what it comes down to is that uh, people are really willing to pay an inordinate amount of money
Yeah.
for a marginal improvement.
Exactly.
But this is a completely different experience. You cannot get something that is even 50% the same, along the same trajectory. Now, maybe this is not your profile, maybe you don't like it,
Hmm.
but if you care about like getting, experiences that are different,
Yeah.
right? If you're thinking about like in Bitcoin terms,
Yeah.
it's supposed to bring like an orthogonal like thing to your portfolio, right?
Yes.
It's bringing diversification to your range of uh, tastes and experiences that you have in your life, right? In
Yeah.
your bourbon or whiskey journey.
I
And
would completely agree with that.
so yeah, if anyone ever comes across anything else that is anywhere on the same profile,
Yeah.
I'd be happy to hear that. But I've not, having tried hundreds and hundreds of whiskeys, I've never got anything that's is anything like that.
Yeah. Same here. It's a completely different profile, but it's a very good one.
All right, cool. Well, thanks again for joining me, Tam,
Yeah.
and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Cheers.
Cheers.
Join us next time. Hopefully, we'll be trying something that's a little bit more um, attainable. Take care.